Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. How are you doing this morning? Let's see. Good morning. Good morning, George. Good morning. Checking in while I have breakfast and coffee before driving into BG3 for the day. Wait, what is BG3? I feel like I should know. Good morning, Zero the Blade. Good morning. Good morning. This one may be a bit of a short one today because I'm not feeling all that great this morning. But I wanted to come in here and share what's going on with the morning grind with you. And also, I thought, well, here's one that I've got that I have not gotten to look at yet. And we may spend a couple of days. I don't know, since today might be a bit short. But anybody have this one? Anybody have the Starfleet technical manual? Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Good to see you. I hope everybody is doing great. Let's see. What is going on this morning? I was going to say over here, I don't know a whole lot about TikTok, but I don't know if you are also on TikTok, but I decided that, Table Talk needs a TikTok channel. And so I did create a TikTok channel to take some of these shorts that I had been creating for Table Talk. I really need to get them going out on Instagram as well. There is a Table Talk Instagram as well. But it was doing something weird when I was trying to upload them. It was cropping them weird, so I've got to figure this out. But, of course, Doug is popular on TikTok, it appears. So here is the Table Talk TikTok. So if you are over there on TikTok and you want to see what's going on over here, this one right here, that same clip that I was showing yesterday where Doug was talking about the potential erasure of the sequel trilogy through the use of the World Between Worlds in Ahsoka, that rumor that came out, 2 years ago, and Doug doesn't think it's going to happen, but this is what he was talking about that's gotten 38,000 views on TikTok since like yesterday afternoon. So apparently that's what people like to talk about on TikTok. That would be it. So neat. All right. Guess I'm finding stuff out about TikTok. All right. Let's take this down. Let's see. I got water this morning. Let's prepare the morning sip. Zero the Blade says, I think it's more of a split than a removal. I did watch the last Ahsoka. There's one more Ahsoka left to go, right? And I can't even remember what was happening in it. Doug was going to look up, or, was going to be watching as well, because like I said, he was originally the major fan of the Ahsoka series, of the Ahsoka character, rather. The Ahsoka character from the Clone Wars and Rebels. And so, he was getting into Ahsoka and really ready to watch. We were quite critical of the first 2 episodes. I remember Doug said that the next, with Anakin and Ahsoka, he thought that it was better. Good morning, Robert. Good morning. He thought that it was better and then lost, but then lost it again. I did watch them and I can't even remember what was happening. Oh, now the game can add and remove monsters from the party. Now, this sounds like it's like stepping up leagues beyond what it was when I first saw it, Robert. But anyway, so I don't know. I can't even remember what happened in the last Ahsoka episode. I guess if we're going to talk about it, I don't know if we will or not do another table talk on Ahsoka. We might need to go back and do that, or might want to do that once the last one comes out. I guess we'll see. I don't know if it's worth doing or not. Let's go over here. Oh, see, why does George says, I'm meh with Ahsoka. I'll watch, but it's not been as good as some of the other offerings so far. According to some, it depends on who you listen to. It completely depends on who you listen to. From, hey, is this show just absolutely crushing it, or is this show another bomb? All right, let's take a look at The War of Art. This is The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Let's get our favorite drink out. Got the drink out. Let's breathe in 2 deep breaths, complete exhales, and then two deep exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning, and then we will go and read from The War of Art. Here we go. Breathe in and out. And sip. I am trying to overcome resistance. I still did not finish this story. And that's not good. I feel like the days are just slipping by. Here we are at September 30th. And it's not that I wasn't working on it. I've been working on it, but it just takes longer than I was expecting. I wish I'd been able to start on it a couple of weeks ago, but I've been working on it today. I got to finish that. I got to finish that. Say that every day for the past 3 days. I got to finish it today. But then also, man, it is time to do a heavy cleaning here in the house. I mean, this house needs to be cleaned and organized in a massive way from top to bottom. Last year I was thinking about uh like doing a pretend like cabin for the winter. I think it would be neat one time to go up to a cabin for the winter snows and write and use that time for creativity. But I really can't go out to a cabin. But I could kind of simulate that here in this house. This house was supposed to be the house that was designed to allow me to do the writing and get the writing done before, in this particular phase of life before I go and do other things. And that's been a war. But I really need to get this house. This house needs to it's chaos. It's absolute chaos. Get it back in order, and then it also by clearing things out, the uh, clutter from around the house. I have a feeling it'll clear the clutter from my mind as well. Now, Michael says, I'm done with Disney Star Wars. Disney has killed all interest that they anything they are involved in for me. I think I was done. The only reason that I kind of went back and I've been watching Ahsoka is because Doug was so interested. So I went back and watched Ahsoka. But it's probably otherwise I would not have. Probably I would not have. I was pretty much done after the Book of Boba Fett. I did watch a few episodes of Kenobi, but then stopped. And so I probably would not have watched Ahsoka if not for doing table talk with Doug. All right, resistance and procrastination. Procrastination is the most common manifestation. Procrastination is the most common manifestation of resistance because it's the easiest to rationalize. We don't tell ourselves, I'm never going to write my symphony. We just say, I'm going to write my symphony. I'm just going to start tomorrow. Resistance and procrastination, part 2. The most pernicious aspect of procrastination is that it can become a habit. We don't just put off our lives today, we put them off until our deathbed. Never forget, this very moment, we can change our lives. There was never a moment, and never will be, when we are without the power to alter our destiny. This second, we can turn the tables on resistance. This second, we can sit down and do our work. So, if you have been procrastinating, if there's something you are trying to create or something that you are trying to do, now would be a good time to do it. Now would be a good time to do it. Let's go over here to the extra camera. Shatter the resistance, Robert says. Yes, shatter the resistance. All right. Vladimir says after the stream. Well, if you are so inspired, if you have that symphony to write, or you have that novel to write, or the painting to do, and you realized, hey, time to get it done, go right ahead. Dive right in. Hang on. You're right. My camera went down. Hang on. Huh. How about now? It all went out. Okay, so you should be able to hear me now. Audio joined the resistance. Yes. George says, my stepfather bought the first edition of this manual for us when I was a kid. That's a long time ago. We loved it because it had a schematic for the communicator in it, and we wanted to build that. Yeah, you know, I picked this back up because again, this was a book that somehow must have, actually, I think that I let someone borrow these. I think a family member has borrowed these, because I also have the Next Generation one, but I don't have it here. I don't have it here, but I think they still exist. I think that my cousins have them. But the reason that I found this one for just a few dollars on eBay, and so I rebought it. I bought it back after going to the Neutral Zone Studios replica of the Starfleet Enterprise, the Starship Enterprise set. I gotta close this door. Because I wondered if it had been a source for creating props for the Star Trek Continues set or Star Trek Continues series, because it does have things like that. The blueprints or the schematic of the communicator, of the phasers, things like that. Those were some of my favorite parts in this. Mike says, one of my favorite books. It had the Galactica blueprints as a kid. Bought them both again a few years ago for reference material. And so I was wondering, yeah, as a reference for if there was going to be a shoot down there, this would probably be a good one to be able to create good props from. So we said this is created as an in-universe text. I don't know what. Okay, general section here. It has the Articles of the Federation in here. We could go through that, but the Articles of Federation are here. There's a lot of them. Article 15, Article 16. I like in-universe text like that. I wonder how many people have referred to the Articles of Federation in an episode, and I wonder if it comes from this. Oh, there's actually a lot of that. I like in-universe things. The Treaty of Peace between the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets. Oh, you had a hardbound book? George, our copy was hardbound, similar to military manuals at the time. Oh, I didn't know there was a hardbound version. My version had always been softback like this. When is this? I wonder if they put the date inside, since it's an in-universe text. 20th anniversary edition, September 1986. No, this says manufactured in the United States. First printing November 1975. Wow. So this is actually copyright 1975 by Franz Joseph Designs. So this is the 20th anniversary edition. So that may be what the what this softbound is. But wow, this is really early. 1975. When did we say? See, I bought this and I rebought that the plans of the Starship Enterprise. These two things together, the plans of the Starship Enterprise and this. I mean, it's a really a wealth of in-universe information about Star Trek if you were trying to create something. I didn't realize that this was that early. So it might have been that 1975 edition that was hardbound. And then it was re-released in 1986. So this is really early. 1966 to 1975. They put a lot of thought in. There was a lot of world building thought put into this early on. George says, yeah, I'm that old to have the first edition. BGD says, mine was also hardback. I still have an original one, not my first, that has the hardcover. Yeah, so it's pre-movies. Mike says, mine was softbound, but had a harder plastic slip cover. Got it through the school book sale. Huh. The Treaty of Peace between the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets. So it's short. The articles of the Federation are pretty long. I just noticed this says done at the planet Babel. The articles of the Federation. But the Treaty of Peace, so the Treaty of Peace between the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets is short. Negotiated by Subspace Communications, star date 1200.5. Part of the terms and conditions having been negotiated and agreed to be identically understood. The Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets mutually pledge to each other their solemn word to effectively cease hostilities between the two parties effective star date 1200.5. Part 2. Between the adjacent territorial boundaries of the two parties, there is established a neutral zone, 750 parsecs in width, in the galactic longitudinal plane and extending to the outer boundary of the galaxy in the vertical plane. All persons and facilities of any manner whatsoever identifiable with either party shall be immediately removed from this zone. Effective star date 12/10/1210. No persons or facilities of any manner whatsoever identifiable with either party shall hereinafter intrude upon this zone. The Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets mutually pledge to each other to faithfully maintain the neutrality of the neutral zone hereinafter. Any intrusion whatsoever by any person to facility identifiable with either party into this neutral zone shall be considered to be a hostile action and breach of this peace. In such event, an immediate state of war shall be declared to exist between the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets, except only where such intrusion by any person or facility identifiable with either party can be undeniably demonstrated to be the accidental result of conditions beyond the control of that person or the facility and did, in fact, occur without hostile intent. To this end, and for all purposes of mutual maintenance of this treaty of peace and this neutral zone, the Romulan Star Empire and the United Federation of Planets agree to keep open and maintain a constant surveillance of subspace communication frequency K. I, Praetor Karzon, having read the terms of this treaty verbatim over subspace communication frequency K, and being identified by voice print of this transmission, do hereby certify that I am the Praetor of the Romulan Star Empire with full powers to execute this treaty on behalf of the Empire. Christopher Thorpe, having read the terms of this treaty verbatim over subspace communication frequency K, and being identifiable by voice print over this transmission, do hereby certify that I am Governor of the Federation Council of the United Federation of Planets with full powers to execute this treaty on behalf of the government. Huh. I like world building. We're talking about world building on Tuesday on the Morning Grind. On Table Talk. Nice. Note no section 31. LOL. No, that one's to the short and to the point. This is the Treaty of Peace imposed by Organia. So this says this Treaty of Peace is simultaneously imposed upon the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets. Unless your governments and combatants in galactic space adhere to an immediate cessation of hostilities, your armed forces, wherever they may be, will be immediately disabled. Imposed by Organia. Condition 2. Henceforth from this time, within a zone 750 parsecs in width between the adjacent territorial boundaries of both parties, no armed hostilities may take place between the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets. Condition 3. At any time, should a person or unit of either party attempt to act or use weaponry in a hostile manner against a person or a unit of the other party within this zone, that person or unit and the weaponry shall be rendered immediately harmless. Did somebody impose that? Yeah. Good morning, PH. BGD says most of the starship designs dreamed up in this technical manual have eventually come to life in varying degrees of canon. And one of the things that I like about this is that there aren't a million different classes of starship. We've got just a few of them, and they all matter. Yeah, so what is, I forget, it says this treaty is imposed. It says, Organian Treaty Star Trek. Did that come up with the Treaty of Organia? Here we are, from Memory Bank Alpha. Was an agreement enforced by the Organians, a race of powerful incorporeal beings of Organia, upon the United Federation of Planets and the Klingon Empire, ending the Klingon Federation War in 2267, as established by the original series episode, The Errand of Mercy. According to the terms of the treaty, each side could lay claim to a disputed planet inside the neutral zone between the two powers, and was given the opportunity to demonstrate its ability to develop that planet most effectively. Also, each side was granted the right to demand the use of the other's shore leave facilities along the border. This is according to the original series episode, The Trouble with Tribbles. The Treaty of Organia was eventually superseded by the Khitomer Accords in 2293, which bore out the Organians having predicted the Klingons and Federation would one day become friends. In the alternate reality, this treaty was in existence by February 2259, on the eve of the founding of Sherman's planet. There was a dispute about this treaty. Star Trek Into Darkness production alert. Errand of Mercy. You got it. Okay. They were a super powerful race that seemed like harmless farmers and peasants. Episode was Errand of Mercy. So, the time will come in the future when the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets will become allies and good friends, working together in peace and harmony for the betterment of both. Until that time, neither party may deny to the other peaceful access to its planetary bases within the neutral zone for shore leave, rest, and rehabilitation. Condition 5. Both parties will respect the territorial integrity of Organia and will make no further attempt to intrude on our planet's territorial affairs. When the time arrives in the future for us to join with both parties in the peaceful development of intergalactic relations, we will make known to you our intentions. Condition 6. We are aware that within the neutral zone, there are many planetary subcultures and various levels of evolutionary development, which could benefit from the advanced cultures of the Klingon Empire and the United Federation of Planets. To this end, Organia will permit such peaceful development, and in each specific case, will award such rights to the party which demonstrates it can most effectively develop the planet to the benefit of its social systems. So that is interesting. Lots of world building here. The neutral zone between the Klingon Empire and the Romulans is the same width, but the treaties are very different between what was negotiated with the Romulans and what was imposed then upon the Klingons and the Federation. The United Federation of banner here. This is red and silver. Good morning, Brett. Yeah, Rogue Thinker says, so if the Federation could use Klingon outposts, that might be interesting. Yeah, we had the episode, because that was the trouble with Tribbles, right? That it was saying when the Klingons come to use the Federation ones. But you have the Federation. You could have an episode of the Federation going to the Klingons. The United Federation of Planets Great Seal, blue and silver. That's what this is right here. United Nations Planet Earth Sol System official garrison proportions. Official parade proportions. Of the United Nations flag, Planet Earth Sol System. United Nations Sol System seal, blue and silver. Planetary Confederation of 40 Eridani. I don't know what that is. The signet of this. Cygni shield. The Star Empire of Epsilon Indi. Or Indi. Star Empire seal. Maybe these were other members of the Federation? Oh, it's the that's the Vulcans? Oh. Mike says the Errand of Mercy is also one of the few times we see a Klingon communicator. I didn't know that. So this is the Vulcan Planetary Confederation banner of the Vulcans then? Now that you say that, I can see a bit of a Vulcan influence here. So what is 61 Cygni? Are these like the initial founding members of the Federation? Let's see. 40. So, oh, okay. So that, no, it's actually, okay. So that is a real planet or real star system. It says it's the triple star system in the constellation of the Eridanus. So what is it in Star Trek? Memory Bank Alpha. Here we go. It's one of the stars. Oh, it's one of the three stars. Oh, 40 Eridani A was one of the three stars in the Vulcan system. The star had three major planets, the binary planets Nivar and Tekut, and 40 Eridani A1, and one minor planet, Delta Vega. The star has an asteroid belt. In the 24th century, Starfleet operated a shipyard, the 40 Eridani A Starfleet construction yards in the star's vicinity. Oh, but that comes by the Next Generation, Night Terrors, the wounded DS9. 40 Eridani A was first established as a location of Vulcan after a draft of Joffrey Mandel's reference work, Star Trek Star Charts, was used in various Enterprise episodes using the location of Vulcan 40 Eridani A. Well, this is early. I mean, but this one in here is early. This says this was first established in Enterprise that way. But this is early here. Planet Vulcan is in the 40 Eridani star system. Hey, Stray. So 61 Cygni. Yeah, that's what this. I figured that's what they must be. The founding of the Federation. Each planet in the Federation, which is why the United Nations would be there. Let's look up. Oh, yeah, here we go. 61 Cygni. Was the inhabited binary star system, okay, of Cygni A and Cygni B. This was located approximately 11 light years from the Sol system, part of the constellation Cygnus. Teller Prime, the home world of the Tellarites, was located in this system. Yeah. So they also have a Roman-looking shield here. Who else do we have then? Arms. So this is the Star Empire of Epsilon Indi. So the Andorians should be in here too, right? Well, somebody probably already has it in the comments. Epsilon, the Star Trek. Here we are. This is approximately 12 light years from Sol. Let's see. Its primary star was Epsilon Indi. In history, a band of marauders based on Trachis wreaked havoc on the inhabitants of the Epsilon Indi system. After many centuries of intrusion, the inhabitants of Epsilon Indi were finally able to rise up and destroy the marauders, leading to their corporeal extinction. TOS and the children shall lead. It was probably written in the extra material like this, but they canonized it later in the TV shows. Yeah, the Andorians have got to be in here someplace. Surely Memory Bank Alpha would have said this was the Andorians if it were. What about this? The Concordium of Planets, Alpha Centauri Concordium of Planets. Gold and purple. Alpha Centauri Concordium of Planets. That's not the Andorians, is it? The Alpha Centauri Concordium was one of the 5 founding member states of the United Federation of Planets, founded initially as an independent state when it declared independence from Earth. Well, at least that's according to Enterprise Rise of the Federation novel, A Choice of Futures, the Enterprise novel All the Good That Men Do, and the Star Trek novel Articles of the Federation. By the 20th, now according to the original series episode, which is what we would have at this time, this is the original series Fortunes of War novel Dreadnought. The Alpha Centauri Concordium was part of the Federation General Assembly. BGD says Procyon. Or Procyon is the Andorians, if I recall. I think there's a flag in there for them. Alpha Centaurians were transplanted humans and founding members. That's neat that there is an alternate human group that's off of Earth. Official type style, Starfleet specification. It says here 1. The asterisk says, do not use 1 in fleet operations, instrumentation, or ship designations. But the Enterprise is 1701. I wonder why that is there. Official type, Starfleet specification. So this one does have the color plates in here as well. Starfleet specification colors. Or just one sheet in here. Command section. Starfleet Armed Forces Organization. Federation Council, Military Staff Committee, Starfleet Command. Personnel Division, Logistics Support, Base Operations, Fleet Operations, Security Division, Science Division, Engineering Division, Medical Division, Technology Support, Colonial Operations, Justice Division, Galaxy Exploration, Space Safety Board, General Accounting, Starfleet Academy, Planetary Relations. I like this feel. I really like the feel of this book, especially when you've got the 5 founding members of the Federation, and they're not that far away from each other. They're 6 light years, 11 light years, 12 light years, whatever it was. I like the idea of this feel of the early space exploration of the galaxy. Thank you, Stray, for the links. BGD says, at the time this technical manual was originally published, Alpha Centauri was a breakaway independent faction of Earth humans. That's where Zephram Cochrane was from before the retcon in First Contact. That's right. He was from Alpha Centauri. I remember that in the original series. But I like the submarine-like space feel of the original series that's being put forward here when it's still early and trying to get something done when you're not, masters of the galaxy. Like you are in later Starfleet. Starfleet Armed Forces Organization, Starfleet Armed Forces Organization continued. Chief of Logistics, the Inspector General, Commandant. Starfleet Headquarters. Starfleet Headquarters, United Federation of Planets. That looks very classic 70s sci-fi. Fleet Headquarters. Let me take this down. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. View a typical cross-section of Fleet Headquarters. Starfleet Headquarters building, division between bays. So they intend it to be a space station? Starship dock. So Starship dock here. Deflector shield. Beacon, high-resolution range detector and scanner. Is this what's supposed to be in these circles here? Natural habitat, soil layer, transportation corridors, warehouse storage, manufacturing shops, laboratories, etc. Let's see. Fleet headquarters. So you're supposed to be docking in here. Note, dock is normally pressurized only for extensive external ship repairs or large-scale loading and unloading operations. Ships float in synchronous orbit within the dock. So this is quite large. These orbs? Yeah, because it says ships docks right here. So you can dock. Have we ever seen something like this? Spinning disc, basically using centrifugal force for gravity. It may be, but if it's spinning in this direction, that would mean that these pods, your gravity would be going down this way. So you'd be pointing around. Let's see, fleet headquarters. But anyway, this duct is so pressure seal. That's a lot of, and that's also, those ships are very close together, it looks like. This is a destroyer scout class ship, cruiser class starship, and then the transport ship. Here's the equatorial section. Now, this does seem like that. The starship dock is going out here. What you're saying over here, affirmative. Yeah, okay. So George is saying this view then Starfleet headquarters building. Did we ever see this? The elevation shows the building as a cross section of the base structure so it can spin for artificial gravity. When I think of Starfleet headquarters, I think of something that's on Earth in San Francisco. I don't know if we ever saw this in the show. But here we do have underpass, Starfleet headquarters building, 25 stories. And then the inner sky shell up here. Starfleet headquarters ground level plans. Starfleet Historical Museum pool. Or Alien Culture Museum. Trees and lawn. Boat docks. A beach. And this would have been cool to see. Starfleet headquarters, they've got lots of, single family residences over here, and then also a lagoon and a park. So they're intending people to live on board the space station live on board Starfleet headquarters in single family residences with a playground in the center. Amusement center, Twin Peaks, a church, orchard, scenic rural productive crop farming, Fleet headquarters. I must never really taken a close look at what this was. Wilderness, recreation. The cadet playground for the United Nations Park. Parade playground, cadet playground. Cadet parade ground. Because the Starfleet, Starfleet Academy is over here. The football field, athletic field. Oh, this is the recreation wilderness for the Academy. I would like to have seen this now. That's pretty cool. Insignia and rank, we know that. Command sciences, engineering and support. Here are ranks. I don't see ensign on here. We've got, ensign. No, ensign has no stripe. Okay, so there we go. Ensign has no stripe. Lieutenant, lieutenant commander, commander, captain, commodore, admiral. Rank stripes are worn on duty uniform only and are located above the cuff of each sleeve. Duty uniform male, 9.2 centimeter cuff along the boots, above the boots. This has communicator and phaser being worn underneath the tunic. Cadet playground, where do I sign up? Yeah. It would have been a massive station, never made it into the TV shows. Yeah, or something later. The uniform references with the actual sewing patterns is one of the best parts of this book. It is, and that's what I was thinking, that if you're trying to costume something for something down there at the King's, here we are, right here, uniform pattern. Fold this half under and match the selvage edged. Uniform pattern male, non-computerized fabrication. Each unit here is 16 square centimeters. You would have a good costuming reference for what you needed to make. Starfleet duty uniform, Starfleet female. This says officer grades except ensign. Ensign grade medical, ensign grade except medical. So there's a change. What is the difference here? I'm not sure. But there we go. The breakdown again here. Rogue Thinker says, I bet the beach is very nice. We need to go through Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise. I love that one. I never had that one. Let me write that down over here. I've got, of course, we still got RPG stuff to go over here, but we did a lot of RPG stuff. So doing some things like this is fun too. So let's see. Here it is. Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise. Yep. So I was looking at what's the difference between here. This is officer grades except ensign. Oh, there is a change to the neckline. Ensign grade except medical. It's not a huge change. And okay, and then this is medical ensign. DI division insignia for medical nurses and orderlies. Huh. Yeah, so it's a change up of the neckline. I wonder why they did that or why they thought that was important. BGD says why the female uniform neckline gets lower for the enlisted and medical personnel is pretty questionable, though. It's funny they've made a point for a new guys to size up a stranger looking at their uniform patterns and rank. Watch their eyes next time you watch. It's an awesome detail. The collar? Yeah. It's a huge change if you're wearing it. No, right, yeah. I wasn't looking from here. I didn't immediately pick up on the neckline from here to here. I was looking at everything else. But yes. It's coming off the shoulders. Probably accounting for costuming changes in the Next Generation or the original series, TOS. Well, that could be it. That could be it. That there was just costume changes, like so, and they of the female uniforms, and maybe that's how they were able to integrate it into the book. So medical uniform pattern. Now this, wilderness station for cadets to relax while fighting for their lives. Starfleet ship classifications. So see, I like the, they say heavy cruiser class right here, but the heavy cruiser, the destroyer or the scout, the transport and tug, and then this right here is the dreadnought class under construction. You know, I'll be on Instagram scrolling by, and for some reason, Instagram wants to show me a bunch of Star Trek stuff. And what they often show me is a bunch of Star Trek ships. And I like the simplicity of these. Now, like what we're talking about, the refit Enterprise is one of my favorites too. But here, there aren't like 40 different ship classes. It starts to get unbelievable. I like this feel of early in the Federation. There aren't that many different classes of ships. They're all recognizable. They're all identifiable. You don't have 40 of them. Mike says, Thessian loved to play with the clothes and uniforms to see how he could push the envelope of modern television. If it didn't fall off, it worked. That's probably what this accounts for. Let's see. So here is Class 1 Heavy Cruiser, Constitution class starships. Now, I do think that these ships have always been underarmed. I want to talk about that later. I always have been underwhelmed by most Starfleet or most Star Trek battle scenes. The Ptolemy class tugs with interchangeable transport containers. Yeah, so transport containers, that's what BGD is saying. Mark V products. Oh, you can tug personnel. So the Mark IV is a personnel transport container. refers dry bulk liquids. I love this world building. Rogue Thinker says that would be my assumption too. It's mostly tries to integrate with the TOS TV stuff into the RPG. Because there aren't that many, the weapons on board this aren't all that great. Phaser banks, so phaser banks this direction here. Wait, where's the front phaser banks? Should be phaser banks on the front too. But even the Constitution Refit class Enterprise, I thought had it only has one, well, I think it has 2 torpedo bays, but they're forward facing. So this says there are main phasers. There are 2 photon torpedo banks. Photon torpedoes, up here it says. Photon torpedoes up here. But see, that just says 2 banks. Is that, I mean, surely it's got forward and aft. But it says that there are 3 banks, 2 each. On this other hand, it just says photon torpedoes, 2 banks. Because in space, if you're not pointing directly, it seems like you want to be able to fire at things that you are not directly in front of. Or directly in front of you. But only 3 banks of phasers, 2 each. Standard range 18 years. Maximum safe cruising speed, warp factor 6. Emergency speed, warp factor 8. And this is 288.6 meters long. Heavy cruiser class authorized construction. They have a Starliner module that makes the Ptolemy more like an ocean liner in space. Oh, interesting. The original altruistic Federation wasn't geared for war. I think the original series Enterprise had its phasers on the ventral side of the primary hull because it was shot down on planets in the series. Ah, you're right. Rogue Thinker says the phaser banks have a large arc of fire. And that could be it. So if you've got 3 banks, but you would need to be, if you're, even if you're not geared for a war, I still think that you would design your weapon systems to be able to cover your ship. And having both ventral and dorsal phasers would at least be that. Because I think you're right. I think they do shoot them down on a planet in the beginning, in the original series. So that would mean that you would need to be able to shoot from the underside of your ship too. Because even if you have a wide arc of fire, like even if you can cover a lot from these phaser banks up here, you wouldn't be able to cover under your ship. Because you'd have to shoot through the hull. So, heavy cruiser class, authorized construction. The following ships of the Mark 9 class were authorized by the original Constitution, Articles of Federation of the Articles of Federation of Stardate 0965. The Constellation, the Constitution, NCC 1700, which is the class ship. And then all of indicating which of these ships were lost in the line of duty. A lot of them, and Star Trek Continues deals with a lot of that. So the Constellation, the Constitution, the Enterprise, the Excalibur, the Exeter, the Farragut, the Hood, the Intrepid, the Congo, the Lexington, the Potemkin, the Republic, the Valiant, and the Yorktown. Then the following ships of the Mark 9A. Did I say Mark 6? I meant to say Mark 9. Mark 9A class were authorized by the Starfleet appropriation of Stardate 3220. Ari, Bonham, Richard, Eagle, Eldorado, Endeavor, Essex, Excelsior, Hornet, and so on. Then we added these. And then building a lot more of these things. Mark 9B class. The following replacements for the Constitution class were authorized by Starfleet appropriation of Stardate 444. Constellation 2, Farragut 2, Intrepid 2, and Valiant 2. Here's the destroyer. Main phaser. See, this destroyer still has 3 banks of main phasers with 2 each, and photon torpedoes, 2 banks. And it's 242.5 meters long. BGD says its weapon layout was one of the big design changes when John Eves contributed to the Enterprise D, which went to phaser strips on both sides of the saucer section instead of phaser emplacements. Right, yes. But even then, so you do have, they're talking about the arc of fire here. You get a large arc of fire with those phaser strips, which I think is pretty cool, the way the Enterprise D used its phasers. And you have, in that case, very explicit dorsal and ventral main phaser banks on the saucer section. But there are also phaser banks elsewhere. I made note of that as a kid because I did the Starfleet, because I thought about the phaser placement for a long time. And that's something that changes as well with if you're building the model of the Enterprise. The Enterprise D has phaser banks elsewhere on the ship as well. On the drive section, there are other phaser banks on board that ship. So the Enterprise D can cover itself very well with its phaser fire, but you never see that in the TV show. There are a couple of times when I think you should, because they only really shoot. Do you ever see them shoot from the other phaser banks other than the main phaser banks? I'm not sure. I'd have to check. But there are a couple of times even then when they should have, like in yesterday's Enterprise, they've got more phaser banks than just the primary ones. They should have opened up with a lot more of their phaser banks on the Klingons, and that would have been the perfect time to see it. Occasionally they get in a big fight and they should open up, but even there on the Enterprise D, now I know that Enterprise D does have forward facing and aft facing torpedoes, and I guess you can say the torpedoes are guided so that you don't have to worry about shooting. If you're trying to shoot at something below you, it's a guided torpedo. But I still would have liked to have seen more photon torpedo coverage from the Enterprise D. Stray says, yeah, looking at one of these is like looking at an aircraft carrier, like an RPG if a mob has designed. Losing one of these is like losing an aircraft. See what you're saying? Yeah, losing one of these is like losing an aircraft carrier, like in an RPG if the mob has a designed birth name. Watch out. Mike says, remember the D could separate saucer from the main hull, and they did do that during the TV show a couple of times. Yeah, but it wasn't it. See, is this going to tell us whether the saucer is separatable or not? I hear people go back and forth on that. In Star Trek Continues, they specifically separated the saucer section from the drive section. It was unclear whether that was the intention, as far as I know. I think you see other Galaxy-class ships shoot 360 degrees during the Next Generation and DS9. Now, it could be in DS9. I didn't watch a whole lot of DS9, so that would be interesting. I would like to... I'd like to find that, because that would be something that I would change if I were going to do like hey, let's redo a Star Trek battle scene where one of these ships really does open up and you see what it could actually fire. So here's the destroyer. So this says the officer command 20, crew ensign grade 120. So there'll be 200 people on board this. It says over here, ships command 43, the officers command 43, crew ensign grade 387. That's a lot of ensigns. So what is that? Yeah, so 400 and something versus 200 on board the destroyer. The 200 people is still a lot on board this destroyer. Destroyer class. So some were authorized by the original Articles of Confederation. Scout class ships. Hermes class. It's the Saladin class destroyers. I think that's pretty cool. But then the Hermes class scouts. But what's the purpose of the scouts? The scout has only 195 people. It's only 5 less than the destroyer. Very similar in tonnage weight. Same standard range. Same max and maximum safe cruising speed and emergency speed. The Scout just has one bank of 2 phasers each. And no photon torpedoes. I don't really understand the difference between the Hermes and the Saladin class. What's the advantage of the Scout? Transport tug. Here we go. So it does have, this one has the 2 warp nacelles. Ptolemy class starships. A lot of people on board. 22 officers in command. And then 198 crew ensign grade. And here's our transport containers. We may see that, what you're talking about, the cruise liner here. BGD says, I think the TOS saucer separation is an officially accepted retcon, but Matt Jeffrey's original intent was to keep personnel in the saucer to maintain parallel line of sight between the warp nacelles. Yeah, I think you may be right. I don't ever remember. They never said anything about it, but I think it would be an officially accepted retcon. I think you're probably right. Corridors, elevators, storage decks. The reefers. Oh, the reefers. This is a change. REEFERS. So for refrigerated storage. Dry. Loading bins. Liquids. Here's Class 1 starliners used with Class 1 tugs. This might be what you're talking about right here. Yeah, like refreshment lounge. So yeah, one of the transport containers has elevators, a fountain, park promenade, 106 rooms for 212 people, and then C deck. A deck is fountain and all this. You can see the promenade up here. Deck A, Deck B, Deck C. Container is a self-contained emergency lifeboat with sublight velocity and 16 years of endurance. Oh, this would have been neat. Get space. How much refrigeration do you actually need? Oh, so BGD. Now, I didn't know this. Now, I knew about the parallel line of sight between the warp nacelles, but BGD says it was part of isolating the crew from the long-term exposure to the that's a word I've never said on live before. The bad effects of projecting the warp field bubble around the ship. They threw out worrying about this in later Trek. Okay. That in that case, that does make me understand a little bit more what they're trying to show, their location and placement of some of the stuff that was in the Starfleet Enterprise bridge, or the Enterprise plans. But yeah, so this should hold a lot of people then, because we've got decks A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, C. Oh. Yeah. Starliner. We got a movie theater, a coffee shop, a bar, a theater, recreation and dancing, a coffee shop, staterooms, library, lounge, food, crafts, pool, gymnasium, playground, maintenance shops, transporters. Well, that's pretty neat. Now, this would do what you were just talking about, BGD. If this is tugging around a Starliner, you would be putting the people in between the warp nacelles. I can see how that would be something that you would think would be neat in the beginning, but then something that later people are like, yeah, let's forget about that. Typical accommodations. The Dreadnought's pretty cool. Phaser banks. So this is the Dreadnought. So this says max safe cruising speed, warp factor 8, emergency speed, warp factor 10, standard range 20 years at LYV. I'm not sure what LYV is. This has 5 banks of 5 phaser banks, 2 each, but still 2 banks of photon torpedoes. I thought the Dreadnought's pretty cool. The following ships of the MK-10 class were authorized by Starfleet appropriation of stardate 6066. There was going to be one of these called Star Empire, Star League, Star System, Star Union, Trusteeship, Dominion Directorate, Concordate. And then the shuttlecraft. Starliners are somewhat of a wonder since they usually seem to take only hours to get anywhere. LYV would be sustained light year velocity instead of dropping to impulse. Oh, okay. Sustained light year velocity. So standard range is 20 light years at light year velocity. "20 years at light year velocity." Huh. BGD says, if they kept worrying about warp fields in relation to personnel, riding around in Cisco's Defiant would be like sitting in a microwave. Yeah, the Defiant's got that weird design. The really non-standard Star Trek design. Shuttlecraft. I had a Christmas ornament that was the shuttlecraft. Oh, look, arrangement classified. All right. Well, I tell you what. Like I said, I'm not feeling all that great today. But this is fun. So I think we should return to this manual. We got another day looking at this manual. Yeah, we got the phasers and all the cool stuff back here. Engineering sections, tricorders, star charts. We'll return to this tomorrow. I am going to try to go get some stuff done. I hope that you have a great day. Hey, don't procrastinate. That was our lesson from the Art of War, the War of Art. That's our lesson from the War of Art today. Don't procrastinate. Go make things happen. Go be creative, be productive, and grind on. I'll see everybody later.